to sit in on those trainings as well. We have reactivated some of our historical board records in our Custis records management system, so we have a lot of technology projects underway. Working with the executive office, there has been an initiative to upgrade some of the equipment in board chambers for the broadcasting of the board proceedings, and that will roll out further in the year 2009. And behind the scenes, we've had a lot of teamwork amongst the staff and just trying to create greater efficiencies in meeting all of our mandates. So it's been a very busy year in the clerk of the board's office and coming right along.
Okay. Yeah, back
The
to
intent
the
was
board.
also that if board members wanted to chime in on this board, you're certainly welcome.
I have a couple. Someone mentioned insults, safety, etc. And as we had an incident earlier in the year of an actual threat that was conveyed to us, I'd like to see somehow in these tough fiscal times that safety, both the board members and the public, be improved in the board chambers as a direction into the future. We talked about that several months ago, and I hope that continues. And looking down the list, we do have money allocated for fire services and EMS, and I think that needs to continue as an objective of the board. That'll be up to the new board to do that. But without that safety net of all those folks working together, which includes police, sheriff activities, we could see a dramatic collapse of the system. And that has to move forward. And the funding that we've allocated, either towards, unfortunately, John, hiring a consultant to tell us how to achieve greater services and maybe more revenue to accomplish it, I don't know, and I won't take part in that, but that might be a way to utilize the money we've allocated this year to those two situations of moving it to the final step, coming up with a final solution on how to fund those mechanisms. Certainly from the federal government on down to the state, you're going to see less and less reimbursements. You're going to push those services closer and closer to the edge of collapse. And again, certainly don't take this as a lecture, but if one leg of the three-legged stool collapses, the other two collapse along with it. And so it's all integrated, and I would ask that the future board look at it as an integrated situation of the essential services to the citizens. And so it's just absolutely critical. We pull ourselves back from so many communities that if we allow that to fail, that'll be the last step in most of these communities. And so those two things I just ask that take a look at. I hate to say it, and I hate to admit it, but I was passing a gun in a lot of board meetings, and it was not a situation that I enjoyed. But in one instance, I was glad I had the safety net right underneath my desk. And I'm sure a certain supervisor feels the same way, that he was glad I had it also.
I don't know, I've never seen you shoot.
So, I just want to make a couple comments there that I think there's still room for improvement. Certainly you're moving into very dire times financially, but I think if we continue to put the word "we" in team, we can continue to move the county ahead and serve the citizens. So I want to thank, I'll have a little formal statement tomorrow, but I want to thank you personally as department heads of working with me this year to try and accomplish the service and the efficiency of the citizens. And without you, maybe not always agreeing with me, but always recognizing the citizens come first, we couldn't have got to where we are even today. So I just want to take this informal way of thanking you all for being who you are and what you do and carrying that message forward. John?
Well, Mr. Chairman, that threat he was referring to in the war room, I didn't take it that serious. I've been shot at twice in my life, and that guy didn't even have a gun, so I wasn't too worried about it. But it's kind of,
I'll put you in front of me then.
all you folks here, you know, it's really kind of remarkable for me to hear all the progress and whatnot that's been made just in the last year here from around the table. And I'm thinking of two department heads that are not here, Department of Transportation and our water agency. Think about those issues. I mean, our chip seal and overlay program has been tremendous help for our road system out there. Besides buying better equipment and everything, we've made some tremendous gains. A little bit disappointing on our major projects in the county, but the funding hasn't really come along. And we've got a couple of projects, North State Street and East Side Powder Valley Road, that's been in the books for a dozen years. And hopefully here within this next year, we're going to see some real progress on them. I'm a little bit disappointed in the progress of those two issues. But as far as our general maintenance of the county road system, I think nobody can argue that our county roads are in better shape right today than they were a year ago at this time for several different reasons. And on the other side of the water issue, which is a very important issue, we can't talk about economic development. Over half of inland Mendocino County is actually on water restrictions. I'm not talking about even in the drought time, I'm talking about year-round. And just today, here in the last year, we've identified a water project, the Boy Scout Lake project east of Willits, and just today at our board meeting this morning, we moved into and funded the Phase 2 feasibility study for that project. So that's progress that's been made here that hasn't been made in Mendocino County in 40 years. It's been over 40 years since Mendocino County has even talked about a water supply issue. So especially with the culmination of this morning's meeting, I think that is a big step. It's big news for Mendocino County. There is some hope for some more water to meet our needs. We're not talking about meeting the growth. We're talking about meeting our existing needs in Mendocino County. So I kind of put that really right up at the top of the list.
Thank you, John. Other board members? Kendall?
I would just like to thank the department heads, because I think you've all been very challenged this year. It's not going to get any easier next year, and you all just really rise to the occasion on in countless situations, and I hear from a lot of you via email or phone calls, and I don't get to see as many of you as I would like, but you know, you all just really give it more than you need to. I get emails from department heads, sometimes evenings and weekends, and sometimes there's just back and forth. Allison is included in that group. So I just really appreciate what you're trying to do, because I know you have challenges, and next year is going to be probably the biggest one, even for those of you that may have been here 20 or more years. In terms of the fiscal challenges that we're going to be facing, and knowing already that for years you've done the more with less routine, and in order to keep your staff as whole as possible, to try to do the programs that the community is used to, and all of this ever-decreasing pot of money. So I just really want to thank all of you.
Supervisor Bill or Supervisor Colfax? Comments?
Well, I'm in a very good mood because we found myself on the majority side of a 3-2 vote here today. That was very exciting.
Beyond that, I'm thinking about changing my vote.
Well, first I think here that the most impressive thing that happened maybe it's because I was in the line of fire. My place was in the line of fire. We worked with among the last 10 homes that was taken off of fire Alberta. I'm sorry, evacuation notice. Thank you. Because that really showed just what can happen in the county when something comes along and people